All right. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Wax and Whiskey podcast. I am fully clocked out of Altamont Family Hearing. We're going to talk about entrepreneurship, hearing healthcare in general, crazy patient stories. And if you're into that and you're clocked out, grab a drink. Let's dive in. I hope you guys enjoy the show. All right, guys. Don't let your imposter syndrome, don't let your fear of going online stop you from profiting, stopping you from generating revenue for your business, whatever the business is, because we need to get out of our heads. We need to turn the camera on. It doesn't all have to be perfect, just we have to start. And for those that have New Year's resolutions for 2026, take this video as a sign to just start. It doesn't matter if it's on your phone. So most of my content has been on this, which is just my regular cell phone. As I've done more, I've gotten a camera. You don't need to have all the things. You don't need a mic. You could do the headphones, the mic. Try to get it doesn't have to be this, but it could be the little wireless lavalier mics that everyone's doing right now. They're like $20-$30 on Amazon, and I started doing that too. But just start. All right, there's a lot that I want to talk about today, and it's all about marketing. So and I'm going to get into it, but first, this show is called Wax and Whiskey. My name is Jaysee Soto. I own Altamont Family Hearing. We are a hearing aid practice in Altamont Springs. We help people hear better. And a lot of the people that watch this are people that are in my same space. But let's just say that, I don't know, you're a baker. Let's say that you're in whatever the business is. I think that social media is so powerful. There's so, social media is lead generation, and I'd say it's even more powerful for some generations than like Google. Like, people go on TikTok, people go on Instagram and Facebook and stuff to find answers to their questions. And having videos, whether it's a long form, like this is a podcast and a video podcast, or if you're just hearing me, either way, like I'm in both spaces. I'm either just an audio platform on Apple Music, Spotify, but I'm also on YouTube. I'm also video. Like, videos is such a powerful thing. I'll say that that's the content that I consume the most. Like, I'm hooked on YouTube, and I'm always seeing shorts, and I like long form videos too. Some like that, some don't. But I'd say that you're capturing, if you cast that net, you're gonna catch a bigger audience. So don't be afraid to start. And before I go into it, and today's just going to be talking about a little bit of my journey, where I want to go, where I started from, where I'm at right now, or where I feel I'm at right now. This show is called Wax and Whiskey. And in this show, we talk about the waxes to the audiology, hearing pun, wax in the ears, whiskey. And it's the whiskey side is I've been on a journey just like trying different bourbons. I'm into whiskey. And I'm not really well versed in bourbons. Actually, I really want to have someone who is, to give me an education, hopefully on this channel, right? And but I know the things that I've liked, things that I don't like, and I'm kind of graduating and trying to figure out, what my preferences are. I just know, yes, good, bad, proofs and how strong it is, and rye versus just a bourbon and a whiskey, and like all these things. So I'm still figuring it out, and I so far have a few favorites. And every time I do the show, I'm pretty much doing something that I haven't had before. So let's start there. This is something that I kind of have had before, and it's something that I normally dislike. It is Maker's Mark. All right. So Maker's Mark, what I'm holding right now is a Maker's Mark 46 French oaked whiskey bourbon, right? And I think it's funny because the show is Wax and Whiskey, and this whiskey, it's known for having it covered in wax on top. And I don't know how I didn't make this connection in the first episode and say, hey, I need to do that. Well, let me tell you a little backstory on this. I'm going to pour up a drink and we're going to let loose. I'm clocked out, by the way, for those that are listening. I'm not in my office. I'm not seeing patients. I'm not seeing patients tomorrow. This is me clocked out, talking about the things that I enjoy on my road as an entrepreneur. Marketing is one that I really have enjoyed, and that's why I'm having a drink, and I'm not, I don't have to worry about seeing anybody or anything like that. But when it comes to drinks, Maker's Mark was one of the first bourbons, I'd say, probably the first bourbon that I really had, that I enjoyed, and then I didn't. And it's because of old fashions. I always mention old fashions is what got me into sipping bourbons. First on the rocks, and now I enjoy it neat, which is how I'm gonna have this one. And Maker's Mark now is too sweet for me. I mean, the entry level one that's like $25. This one was a tier above, and someone recommended it to me and said, you know what, give it a try. It's gonna be better than the entry level. This might be like 40. probably around the 46 as the name is there. It might be like 40, $50 for this one. I can't remember. I've actually had it for a little bit waiting for this episode, so I can't remember what I paid, but I know it was like 40-ish dollars, 40 to 50, no more than that. Give me a second. I'm going to crack this open and we're going to dive in. Alrighty. So Wax and Whiskey drink number 1 for 2026. Let me give it a smell test. Let's see how we doing. Yeah. So no, this is very sweet. Very sweet. Right. I haven't had it yet, but it's still like, this is the thing that I started to dislike on the Maker's Mark. On the other one, it's just too sweet for me right now. I haven't had it yet. It's still on the nose. But no, it just comes off very sweet. All right, let's give it a sip. Maybe it's, let's see. Very light. What is that? A 80. What proof is this? I don't see the proof. What are we looking at? 94 proof. All right. So this says that it's a 94 proof, and it has a little message. Bill Jr. finishes expression with virgin French oak staves for extra wood spice, bolder notes of vanilla, caramel, and a longer finish. It was stave profile number 46 that did the trick, hence the name 46. Alrighty, so yeah, it says notes of vanilla, spice, offering a longer finish without adding any bitterness. So it doesn't taste bad. It just tastes very light, like compared to some of the other things. And I would still say that, let's get another cheers. Yeah, very light, very. It's not bad. It's not actually. I would say it is better than the entry level one, but it's so light. It's like compared to some of the other bourbons I've been enjoying, it's still not my favorite. So I'm not gonna put this one up there in my list. You know, this may not be one that I'm gonna be going back to as frequently because it just seems like this is just no longer my flavor. So it's not bad at all, though. If you're getting into bourbons and you want to try something lighter, something that's not, like anyone that's had like 100 proof or something too spicy, it might turn them off. I'd probably still say Maker's Mark is a good place to start. Yeah, it's just not my preference. But anyways, let's get on to the show. The show is marketing. So recently I had a manufacturer, which is Phonak, that reached out and pretty much they sent a message saying, hey, we see you really active on social media, and would you mind giving us like answering interview questions to help kind of talk about like for a practice owner to get into social media or what it takes to get on, like what are things that have worked for you that haven't, or something along those lines. And so I ended up making a video around that. And I shared it with them, so it isn't something that I've posted like on my channels. And the next day, a provider that I know reached out and said, hey, you're doing great on social media. Thank you for, what you're doing. And I get a lot of compliments on like LinkedIn and stuff for our social media, or people that have just hit me up in my journey, in my career, that have said, thank you for this. Thank you for painting, hearing aid specialists in a positive light and talking about the things that you like, things that you don't like just saying things like not a lot of people do. And it honestly fuels stuff like this. Like it fuels Wax and Whiskey. It fuels for me to have more marketing initiatives. And I would even argue that taking the time to do this may be more profitable in the long run than a lot of like Google ads or like, things that we're paying for. Any business is paying for like SEO content, SEM, which is, marketing their business online. Organic content, like doing things, whatever the field that you're in. If you're in audiology or hearing aid practice, and this is our specialty, talk about those hearing healthcare journeys, talk about those things, because there's actually money to be made on this. And I'm still in the beginning, like this is still in its infancy. I'd say like Wax and Whiskey was just last year that it was started, last November. So it's been just a year. But the social media content that I'm doing around this, which I use this content from my podcast in my Instagram, in my Facebook, in, on TikTok, on YouTube, and we're getting hits. And I'm still not to the point that I'm monetizing from like social media, but I'm sure that I'm going to get there. And some of the big names in my field, like there's Dr. Cliff, there's Dr. Matthew Alsop. I hope that I'm pronouncing your last name correctly, but these are people that have built such a big platform that, like manufacturers reach out to them, and manufacturers say like, oh, do you want to do this? Do you want to do that? Do you want to fly here? Do you want to fly there? And some of them, like Dr. Cliff, has a network where it's a referral source for patients to like get to people that follow best practices, which I am very proud to announce that the bald hearing guy at Altamont Family Hearing is now on Dr. Cliff's Hearing Up network following best practices. Those things cost money too, and to be on those networks, and he is able to create that because of the platform that he has built online. He's worked hard, and I'll say I've watched a ton of his content, even when trying to figure out like what I like, what I don't like, and stuff. And I'm sure when he set out, it was just to educate his consumers and to, just differentiate himself and his business online. And now I'd argue that business is probably, and I don't know this, I'd say it's probably bigger than his hearing aid business as far as revenue. And this is my assumption because this man has, hundreds of thousands of followers at this point, and YouTube monetizes, right? Like that may not be, he didn't go to school to become an audiologist, to become a social media creator, I'm sure. But once you start seeing those things, like that traction, it's great. And that's what I aspire to be. And that's why I'm telling you guys, whatever business you're in, turn on the camera and let's go. Not everyone has that personality. Like not everyone, I am an extrovert. I will talk to anybody and everywhere and whatever. But I'm not a guy that's scripted. I do not like, if I don't even have like a set thing that I'm going to be talking about on this podcast episode. I know that it's going to be about marketing, about podcasts, because I know a theme, but I don't have like, I got to hit all these bullet points and say all these things. And I'm not saying that's the right way, by the way, but I'm saying that that's what works for me, because the times that I've done content where I'm like reading a script, or I know like I have to say everything and deliver it in a certain way in cadence, it's every time I look back at that content, I feel like a robot, and I hate how I sound. And someone else may thrive under that. Like I want to read a script, I want a teleprompter, and I want to read it all. Kudos to you. Like if that is your thing, I'm not gonna, I'm not knocking whatever works for you, but what works for me is this, especially with the laid back, like clocked out. I'd say even more so. Most of my content is out in my business, shirt and tie. It's not this version of me wearing. For those that are on a podcast, you're not seeing. I'm in my home, clocked out, wearing casual clothes. I'm wearing a Mickey Mouse jacket right now. I'm a girl dad. I have a dad gang hat. We're a Disney family. We live in Central Florida, so we live at Disney. And my little girls are 4 and 2, and it's just the age that they're loving everything Disney. And I'll be honest, so do I. We're about to go on a Disney cruise, and I think I'm hooked, just as hooked as they are. So yeah, man, you see, it's pretty good as you keep going. For those that aren't seeing, I'm taking another sip of this. It's pretty good as you keep going. Still very light though. Still very like, it would not be my go-to. I don't know that I would buy this bottle again. Not that it's bad, but it's not my favorite. But so this sort of like let loose, relaxed, unscripted, say what I want. If I'm going to edit something, if I mess up, who cares? I'll edit a little bit of it later. I try not to edit too much, but it's a podcast and keep it raw, but who cares if it isn't? And that's kind of like my advice for someone that's overthinking. How do I get on camera? Stop. Use your smartphone. Get your smartphone, whatever it is that you do. Let's say you're a baker, right? I don't know why baker is the theme that I keep coming back to. I don't know who's a baker. I don't even know a baker right now. You're a chef. I keep thinking of food. I'm hungry. Let's say that you are a financial advisor. There we go. You're a financial advisor, and your business is to grow people's money. Put them in IRAs, 401ks, what's good, what's bad, pre-tax, post, whatever your thing is, right? Like I love hearing aids and helping people hear better, and I can tell you channels and compression and knee points and why real ear measurement rocks and all this stuff is only sexy and fun for me and maybe the 2 or 3 other nerds out there that are in the audiology space that would enjoy this content. For the financial advisor, for you, it's numbers, right? Like numbers, just seeing someone's money grow gets you excited, gets you amped, gets you pumped. Do a video on that. Do a video on like, here's how I start my morning. I grab my cup of coffee. I look at the market. Here's what I'm looking at. Make it short. Whatever it is that got you into your business, like just do little short content about it. Make it your daily routine. Like just talk about like, this is how I start my day. You know what? That honestly, I'm going to do that video next week. I haven't even done that. Here's how I start my day. I did a version of that, but not exactly. But anything, any content, I'd argue that is good content. Like any content that where you're in your space and you're talking about your expertise, even if you don't feel like the expert, even if you feel like let's say there's some imposter syndrome, which is very common, which is has happened to me, continues to happen to me. Even if you have some of that, talk about that, saying if you're comfortable, there's a vulnerability to doing that. But go on there and just be real, be your authentic self, like, and just say, these are the things that I like, this is what I don't. I'm a dental hygienist, and these are the things that I hate to see. We know when you don't floss. We know whatever version of your story is, like, just get on camera and start rolling. You can edit things later. And don't overthink, like, I gotta get this lighting right. I of course do have lighting right now because it is dark and you would not see me at all without you don't have to get all those things. So shoot in daylight. Like, the best lighting is the sun. Just shoot it in the sun. If it's at night, then yeah, get yourself a little ring light. I'm using a ring light. I actually have like studio lights that I purchased because I'm growing this channel. And you know what I did right now? I was like, damn, I really want to say this. My little girls are down. I really want to get this off because I just had this manufacturer ask me my input, and I just had an associate, a colleague that said, hey, Jaysee, can you give me tips on starting my social media? And I was like, you know what? That's what my next podcast episode is about, is getting on social media. It's the same advice I gave those two people, and it's just start. Stop overthinking, go on. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to go get my lights. I'm not going to go get it all set up, because then when we start thinking like everything has to be perfect, then no. I'm literally under this jacket. I'm wearing my pajamas. I swear. I'm wearing my pajamas. I was in my pajamas when I made this decision, and I said, you know what? I'm going to put a jacket on, and I'm going to put a hat that matches the jacket, because I mean, it is social media. We got to... I can't be on here in my pajamas. You know what I'm saying? But that's it. If you want to, you don't have to be all dolled up, and if you're a girl or a guy, you don't have to. Not everything has to be perfect. You don't have to have like the fresh haircut and this is no. Does that work? Does it help? Yes, especially if it helps you feel good. Just like I'm not in my pajamas because this jacket does make me feel a little good. You know what I'm saying? But start doing it, and don't have a script. Actually, if you need a script, when I started this, there was no ChatGPT and all that. You can literally say, hey, help me write a podcast episode on, like, I don't know, if you're a dental hygienist, I'm going to let the baker go. Dental hygienist, right? Give me quick tips for starting dental hygienist, or things that we hate to see at the dentist office, things that, ways that we know that you haven't been flossing, whatever that is. And then just talk about it and put it on TikTok. Make it a minute, make it 3, no more than 3, I'd say, unless you're doing like a podcast or something like this, that someone's going to sit down for the ride. Also, there's so many apps right now to help you edit. So I do most of mine on CapCut. If you're starting from 0 and you're like, okay, I got the video, I shot it. I will say what is most daunting, well, for most people, it's just getting on the camera. But what is most daunting after the fact is editing. There's an app called CapCut. It's not sponsored or anything like that. I can't wait to the day that I get to sponsorship, right? But that's one that I've used, CapCut. It's on your phone. You could like literally clip, chop, and cut it all out and remove your ums, which I probably have a million ums here. Who cares if I have a million ums? And you can edit some things. You can leave it organic, just raw and organic, and just for people to know that, hey, you're a real human being. I didn't take a Toastmasters course, which, by the way, those are available and they're awesome. I just haven't taken the time to do that. I didn't take a Toastmasters. This isn't me in front of the president right now doing a briefing. This is me showing you my real version, right? And if your real version of you says a few times, great. If you say it a little too many times, then work on it, and you're gonna get better and better as you keep going. But you have to start somewhere. One of the pieces of advice that I gave one of my friends, she has a hearing aid store as well, is just talk about the hearing aid. We talk about the hearing aid 24/7. Like, we're explaining to patients the AI in this and the waterproof that and the battery life. And sometimes we talk a little bit too much about like features, and it should be more about their hearing treatment and hearing healthcare and how it's going to help them reconnect to their loved ones and what they're missing out. And I could talk about this. Like, if I go down that road, I could do an hour just talking about that, because that's where I nerd out and I have my most fun in my practice. Is talking about how we use these tools to help you hear your best and why they are impactful, but only in the pursuit of helping you hear your best and giving you the best quality of life that you can get. I don't care about like how many chips and transistors and like the battery drain and like all these other, no one cares about that. Only the engineer that built it. What matters is, how does this help me in my real life? How does this help me in the real world? But talking about those things that we talk about every day is going to be an effortless video to shoot. So if there are things that you're explaining to patients every day, or patients, or, if you're the chef, if you're this is how I prep my kitchen, this is the dental flossing technique or the brushing technique. If you say this day in, day out a million times, make a video on that. Because I promise you somewhere is searching, What's the most effective way to floss or brush my teeth? Or what's the best hearing aid of 2026? If the TV is too loud, is that hearing loss, or what is hearing loss, or when do I need a hearing aid? So making that content, although it might seem kind of boring in the beginning, it'll at least loosen you up to the idea of, I just shot a video, I just edited it, I just put it up. And as you do that, you're going to find whatever your niche is, or you're going to find your flow, and like, this is what sets me apart in my business, this is why I do it. And then you're going to be able to come from a place of like confidence, where you can speak as the expert in your field. And I am not an expert in marketing, but I'm doing pretty good in our business with marketing. And I don't say that to brag. I say that like I'm so excited that people want to listen to this sort of thing. I'm so excited that someone tunes in and goes, man, Jaysee and the whole bald hearing guy thing is it's something that we're seeing all over our platforms. Like, people are reaching out, and I'm just having fun. Like, I'm just turning on the camera and saying, talking about the things that upset me. Like, what's worked for me is talking about the things that upset me, whether you guys have heard some of the stories, or let's say this is the first time that you're tuning into me, talking about, things that are unethical in my space, talking about why I think that many of the Costco or warehouse practices are unethical, why the level of hearing healthcare there and someone who follows best practices in their office is very different, why there's such a gap and disparity in that. And yeah, so that sort of thing comes naturally because I'm normally talking about it when I'm in that moment, whenever I'm upset about it. And when that happens, it's my raw emotion, and I'm just riding that wave and going on. It may take time for some of you to feel like I'm ready to jump on the video and do that, and shoot that content. So that's what I'm saying. Like, start very simple. Start with the things that that you talk about day in, day out, and go. And try to set a schedule. Another thing is, like, and this is one of my resolutions for 2026, is I want to set a time that I'm going to get on camera once a week. Let's say once a week, and I'm going to shoot deliberate content of, like, I want to talk about this, and I'm going to set time aside and talk about it. Doing that, and it doesn't have to be that elaborate or specific. It could be, I just want to shoot a video. I don't care if it's a TikTok dance, or if it's something funny, or if it's something educational, but I want to post something once a week. There's people that do this like once a day or twice a day. Like, there's people that have content all the time. That's pretty good. One second, I'm taking a drink for those that are not seeing. Yeah, there's people that have a much busier schedule as far as their social media content and going. And by the way, I don't have a social media manager. I'm probably looking for one. So if you're watching this, if you're in this far, then you're at least, into what I'm doing. And if you want to grow with me and this is what you do, I'm actually open to hearing what it is that you do, how you can help me grow. But for those that don't have that, like, just set a schedule, set some time aside, like anything else, like going to the gym and like doing whatever, like just set some time aside to shoot that content. Another big thing is, once I have... Alrighty. So another thing or a question that I get asked is like, hey, what should I buy? Like, what equipment should I buy? Right now, again, phone is fine. Wireless, I wish I had it to show you guys, but the wireless lavalier mics that they're selling on Amazon and stuff, they're like $20-$30. There's a brand called Boya. It's cheap. Little Chinese microphone, and a little Chinese, like, just cheap thing that works. There's the better ones, which are like the Rode mics and all that. They're like $100. I'd probably get the better one. If you're committed to doing content, get the slightly better one. I'm using right now a Shure microphone, which Shure has some great mics. This is the MV7, and I have the MV7 Plus. I would recommend that one because it has a USB-C. This doesn't. This needs an XLR cable, as you see there. So I needed to have like a hub connected to my laptop. I later purchased the MV7 Plus, and that's better because it has a USB-C. So you can, like, if you're just a solo podcaster, or you're going to be doing solo, like this talking head sort of content, then I would just get that because you can connect it to your cell phone. If you have an Android, I recently saw that on iPhone it didn't work. We tried to do this with my coworkers. iPhone 16, I don't know if maybe the 17 does, but it did not work. If you're on Android, and this is not at war again, although I'm team Android. If you're on Android, on the Samsung devices, I connected it to it and it powered the mic. And it was great because I could literally put my mic as my camera, get a ring light, connect a nice mic like this, and you have a podcast. And right now, I'm literally outside. Like, there's no sound isolation. I don't even know if you guys could hear the crickets. If you do, then Who cares? You're hearing some crickets. Like, unless there's like I don't know, a chopper that goes by, or in the city, you hear like an ambulance and police cars and sirens and train tracks or wherever you are in the world. It's okay. It's okay. It doesn't have to be. I'd say you have to have good audio, especially if you are in anything that has to do with audiology and hearing healthcare. Don't have a cheap, don't record this from your cell phone's mic while you're 3 feet away. And it's no. I'd argue that audio is better than video. Obviously, I do this for a living, but I do love video. I'm a nerd when it comes to video. Like, I'm the guy that has like OLED TVs everywhere, and I want the 4K and 8K everything and HDR and all the things. And I'm definitely a video guy, but audio is king. I've watched. I will not watch content that like it looks great, and then I start hearing, I'm like, it just sounds like a distorted mic, or like one of the old school headphone, like AirPod headphones, earphones, headphones, inserts, whatever. Don't do that. Don't do that. Like, get some sort of mic. But I'd even say, like, even a cheap mic, a little lavalier mic that's like, I don't know, $30 also. This is wired, but it's gonna be great. Or the wireless ones that are like there's so many content creator kits right now that I'd argue that any of those things are fine. Once you start scaling up, once you start doing a little more, get yourself some. I have a photographer, actually, Vanessa. Shout out to you. You make our practice look beautiful. All of our patients love our content. She comes in and shoots our headshots. She shoots my baby shots too. She shoots. I mean, she is the goddess behind the camera lens. And so, pick your photographer's ears and say like, hey, or their brains, whatever, and say like, hey, what do I get started with? Like, what do you like? What don't you like? And she literally said, just get yourself a good camera. And I didn't get, as some of the cameras can be like $1,000. The one I have is a ZV-1F right now by Sony, and it's $500, $550. The next level was like $1,000, and the one after that was $1,500 to $1,800 plus the lenses and stuff like that. And I'm not there, but we will get there. So I started with this one, and this is light. This is so much better than my cell phone. And then a ring light. That's what I have right now. But I did ultimately buy some diffuse lighting and stuff like that, which we've used in other episodes. We recently did a podcast episode with my wife, which was more like interview style. And it was a lot of fun. We spoke for way too long. It was an hour and a half. I got to make sure that I'm not speaking way too long on this one. And it was a ton of fun. For that, we used the studio lights, and those things look great. And even then, but then you're starting to like add up. That could be like $200 plus the camera. I mean, easily $1,000 just to get started with something really good. But you don't need that. You can do your cell phone. I encourage you to do your cell phone, because that would then be another reason to just not do it. And that's what I don't want. Money. So another thing is revenue. You're leaving money on the table if you're not doing content. So what I mean by that is, like, we recently got someone that came from our Facebook. We shot a video, and this is going back from content. Any social media. Ours was just a welcome video. Welcome to Altamont Family Hearing. My name is Jaysee Soto. I help people hear better, and this is how we do it, and best practices, whatever. It wasn't long. It was maybe like 2 minutes, if that. And it was just an intro to my practice. But then I boosted that a few times, like on Facebook. Boosted means I paid ad dollars. Like, I made it an ad on Facebook and YouTube and stuff. And we recently had a gentleman that came in, and he goes, it was in Spanish, but he said, acá porque lo vi usted, había tu esposa, había la persona que estaba al frente. What all this translates to is that he said, I'm going right with what he said. I saw your video online. I saw your wife. I saw you. The video was awesome. And I knew that you were the person that I had to come to. And this person transacted with us. He came in. He needed a lot of help, and we helped him. And he ended up getting premium hearing aids with us, which are the most expensive, and he did need the most amount of care. He really was someone that was needing help, and he was in a very inappropriate product before. And there was desperation and finding, us having different tools and, being creative and helping him with things that his other provider wasn't doing. And I'm not going to go there in this video, but he is hearing a whole new world, and he's already left us a 5-star review on our Google. So I did a video online. I did content, paid a little money to advertise it. By the way, a little money. Let me be transparent. I paid $300 over Thanksgiving and Christmas just to boost the ad. And that ended up being more profitable than sometimes what I pay for Google, what I pay for like direct mail pieces, other marketing pieces that I do. And it was from a video that I shot for free. that video didn't cost me anything. I ended up boosting it, and now I've started to boost some of that. And my goal is to bring down what I spend in advertising for Google for people to find me, and push my videos up and try to bring people in through that platform, because we got about in that little period between Thanksgiving, Christmas, and people that told us we found you online and we saw your video. It must have been like 4 people, and 2 of them did business with us. This one was the most profitable. Right off the bat, I'm like, why have I not been doing this? Why haven't I been doing this? Now, we're talking about I opened in 2020. It is 2026. We just celebrated 6 years since opening, and I maybe started doing content in 21. No, actually, right when I opened, I was posting like, I'm here, I'm there, I'm doing social. I'm at the Chamber of Commerce, and I'm at this networking event, and I'm with this person, and I'm always tagging it. But as far as videos about like what I do, it might have been like a year later. And now is that I'm getting to the confidence level of like, no, I'm going to use this. This is a means to attract patients. This is a means to get in front of people that have hearing loss, not just a popularity contest, not just so that people in my space know. Like, who cares if the people in that audiologists and hearing aid specialists know who I am? I love that. I love that you do know who I am. I don't want to sound ungrateful. But that doesn't help my family. That doesn't help my business. That doesn't help the provider that I employ, the PCC that I employ, that, pay my rent. Popularity is not, as of right now, it's not profitable. Very rarely have I had like leads or referrals that come to us because of them knowing us, but the patients do see it. And I will say that I'm making better business connections, because I have some traction online. And so maybe that popularity does matter there, because we're making connections, and in the long run, it leads to manufacturers wanting to work with you, people wanting to work with you. And that's why I think it's overall like worth doing. Like, we're so afraid of failing. We're so afraid of having the imposter syndrome. We're so afraid of not feeling confident about being in front of a camera and talking. And like, there's cyber bullies and online gangsters and stuff, and like the people that say a bunch of things online that they don't mean, but they're online. And it's a different era right now that and we handled it differently. But anyways, I'm not going to go there. But there's a lot of that, and people are afraid of like, what will this person say? And I will say, check out, if you're the business owner, and even if it's not you, if it could be your front staff, it could be one of your employees, but you can't afford not to have a voice online, because this is the most impactful thing. I mean, when we think about like people like Mr. Beast, I mean, this is an exaggeration, but like all these YouTube channels and all these people that are making a ton of money online, and it's more than cable. It's more than pay-per-view. It's more than, watching the NBA finals or the playoffs and like all these other things. Like it's more than Super Bowl, right? And these people are generating so much money online. Like, you need to be there. There's no reason for you to not be there. And not as many people are going to see it as you think. It's not like your whole family. Honestly, I would say like you get more strangers that show you love and actually like repost and stuff than you do your family and friends. Like, your family and friends are not going to be watching. Like, there's going to be the 2 or 3 that are really loyal to you, but they're not going to be watching and following all of your content. This is where I'm saying like we overthink it. My head's getting hot. This is where I'm saying that we overthink it, and stop. Like, we need to really, really stop that and just get online and go. The other big thing is you're eventually going to get some hate. I had a little bit of that in 2025. Maybe it wasn't hate. There was a different version. I'm not going to go there right now. But there was definitely some hater activities. Some people like, oh, I'm seeing what you're doing. I'm seeing this. I like this. I don't like that. Da-da-da. Ignore that. Tune that out. Like, once you start hearing that, I think that's when you're like, oh, you're starting to like rub some people off in the wrong way. Like, let me hit a pause on all that. You're starting like, oh, you're starting to get attention, and not from people that want to see you win. Not everyone wants to see you win, and that's okay, whether you're on camera or not. Like, that is the truth. Some people get mad, when they see you and see whatever it is that you're doing in your life and it's going well. It's a mirror, and they see a reflection of themselves. And some people have a lot of bitterness and they're very ugly inside, and sometimes they'll spew that out, and that's hate, and that's haters, right? And that's gonna happen, whether you're on camera or not. Yes, you're putting a target on your back whenever you are going on social media for people to say like, oh, but you said this wrong and you said too many times and da 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 da, you don't have any hair, or whatever the version of that is, right? Whatever it is for you. You can call me bald, by the way. I'm the bald hearing guy. Like that doesn't hurt any of my feelings. I've obviously owned being follically challenged. My ums are crazy this episode, so I definitely got to tune some of these out. So regarding that hate and regarding all that, like that doesn't affect, if it's not affecting your livelihood, it's not affecting your income and that, like tune it out and keep it moving. Like that means you're doing something right. Once you get to that level, that means you're doing something right. So you got to keep pushing past that noise. And I don't, you know what? I was like hesitant to even mention this because I don't want to discourage somebody from going online and from shooting some content. But it is real, and it's something that you're going to face, and that you have to have the mental maturity and you know, to try to just keep pushing past it and going. I'm going to give you some examples of why it's worth it. Last year, I went to a convention that was sort of a training convention with a group that I work with. They're called CQ Partners. And when I went to that, had I started Bald Hearing Guy? I had just started Bald Hearing Guy. But just from our content and the things that I do online, so many people were coming up and like, oh, I know you and I see your content and keep it up. And like, there was so much love. And there were the CEOs from some of there's 6 leading manufacturers, and like 2 of them were there. I think 3, but 2 of them for sure. Like they took the time and said like, hey, I see what you're doing. Keep it up. And that meant the world to me. That meant the world. Cause I'm a little like, we're a small hearing aid store in Central Florida. There's a ton of competition in Central Florida. There's a ton of competition that are online in this space, right? Like the bigger names than me. Like I'm coming up. I'm starting in this right now. I mean, I know you're 6, and maybe for someone's like, what do you mean you're starting? Like you have this and that, but I'm not a Dr. Cliff, and I'm not a Matthew Alsop, and I'm not Zone 1 Hearing. I'm forgetting his name right now. Zone 1 Hearing over there in the UK and stuff. Like these people have so much traction, but I'm gonna get there, and I'm gonna get there by doing this. And so when I'm this small little person that's starting out, and the CEO of a leading manufacturer in the world, we're not talking about in the US, from Switzerland, from Denmark, comes up and says like, hey, I see your content, keep it up, you're gonna go far, and those things like that, you don't even know what that did to me, and like the fuel that set in my heart to keep going. And outside of them too, those were the 2 like standouts. But before that even happened, there were people that were coming up to my wife like, oh, we follow your husband and he's so nice. And you guys don't even know, for those that did that with CQ and the relationships that I made at that event, like that was a turning point for me in my business, because I realized like, oh, my voice is being heard. Like I'm thinking that I'm talking to 2-3 people. 2-3 people might like it, you know, whatever, like comment. Like, you might not see that traction. People are looking at it. People are looking at what you're doing. They don't, whether there's malice or not, whether they care, whether they're haters, whether they're not, whether they're just at their desk and they saw it and they didn't see the whole thing and they didn't engage with your content. People are watching your content. And that was such a nice moment for me to like feel that and feel that love. And after that, I've been invited to events. I've been invited to like come to this country and check out this hearing aid. I haven't always had I haven't always been able to go because I do have 2 little girls that are 4 and 2, and I go everywhere with my family and I do my things with my family. And it's difficult for me to leave, and also I'm the main provider. We just hired a new provider, which I'm so excited about. But up until then, like, you know, if I leave, the business closed, and that's how I provide for my family. So it's hard, even if they're paying for things. But I have had many situations so far in this little moment of like where I'm starting to get some traction online. There have been little moments where, outside of like generating revenue and transacting with a person that came in, like a client or a patient that came from social media, like just with the manufacturer's relationships, there's people that are like, we want to know what you think about this, and we want to help you with this, and we can do this with the marketing. And they're starting to see like, hey, Jaysee has a voice, like we want him on our side. And I will tell you all that you all have a voice, like everybody does. If you came on right now on a microphone and said, so-and-so company is horrible because this is what they did to my patient. Oh no, but it's not just this one, it's this one and this one and this one. And I'm not trying to be pessimistic, but if you did that, there will be an impact. Whether you see it or not, people will see it. They will not like it. In the same way, if you're hype beasting, which is something that I say, my friends call me a hype beast. If you're promoting a product and you're saying things that are very positive about it, there's going to be more positivity when it comes to online reviews and stuff. People aren't going to come on really as often to like say something negative about a brand, but if you're doing that, they're going to see that too. It might not hit their radar until you do that several times, and they start to see like, oh, this person is enjoying our product, let's partner with them a little more. But they will eventually try to partner with you or invite you to things or show you some love. And honestly, it's very lonely in entrepreneurship. It's being in a practice by myself, which I mainly was in the beginning. It's lonely, and now we're growing our staff and we're a little more of a team and stuff. But when you're on an island and then the manufacturers that you work with aren't really connected with you, it just makes you feel more like you're on an island. But then when they're starting to show you some love and you start to feel like I'm a part of their team and they want to be part of my team, all that stuff, all that feel good, like forget about money. Like there's the money part, but there's also just like the relationships, and that makes you feel good. So there is nothing really to lose by putting content out there. If you made a video, if you made a post, an Instagram post, a TikTok, or whatever it is that you want to do, and 3 people saw it, no harm, no foul. You know what I'm saying? Like, what did you waste? I don't know, 10 minutes of your life to do a video and edit it. So do it. Like, go ahead and turn on the camera and start doing that content. The last few things I'm going to say before I sign out is the theme is don't overthink it and just do it. This is not a Nike ad. Just do it. The theme is get out of your head, get on the camera, turn on the camera, take your time. You could do little itty bits of the things that you're really comfortable with until you start growing into telling stories. Telling stories, in my opinion, is the most impactful because we can see that it's genuine. We can see the love, the passion, the thing that drives you to get into work every single day, do what you're doing every single day. We can see that. And when we can see that, people feel it and they want to connect with you. When you sound like a robot and you sound like way too polished, and this is why the Shure microphone is like no one wants to hear that. Like we're tired of that because we have ads, and not only ads, now we're fighting AI, and AI is doing a version of this. Like we need that warm touch of whatever it is that you do to tell that story. People do want to hear that story. You do have to edit, you do have to have some transitions, you do have to do these things, and these things you will learn with time. Watch a few YouTube videos. There's a place called Stop Media, I think is the name of the channel. It has like black and white letters, something media, stop media, think media, that's the name of it. They have so many videos on like, here's how you start, here's a lighting, here's this kit, here's that. So, I mean, there's just way too much content online, which again, they've done that content, you're watching it, they're monetizing from it, and that will help you so that you can start and you can monetize too. The hardest thing is the time, and as the saying goes, time is money. So if you are paying a ton of money for other marketing efforts that you may or may not be seeing the fruits of your labor for, then position yourself as the industry expert as whatever it is that you do, or just a person that loves what it is that you do. Maybe you don't have to wear the hat of like, I am the best, blah, blah, blah in my space, but just like, this is what I really love to do every single day, and this is why it's impactful for me. And if your loved one is the person that is looking for XYZ service that I offer, this is why coming to a provider like me or a person like me or a business like me or whatever that is the best decision that they'll ever make. I just made that up right now on the fly. Like I just made that up. There's no script to this. And I just said it. And I mean, not everyone's going to be able or feel confident doing it. Everyone is able. No, not everyone's going to feel confident doing that. But whatever version of that is going to generate views and likes and things. So be sure to just take the leap of faith and sign on. And thank you guys so much for whoever listens to this for this long. I appreciate the time. I appreciate the love. I appreciate the likes and the comments. So if you have heard and enjoyed this content, please give me a like and a comment. Again, I'm just a small entrepreneur that's trying to grow. I love the traction that we are starting to generate online. I love that we're starting to build an awareness in our brand and doing the best things for the people that are hearing impaired. And I'm flattered that anyone would even consider me to be someone to speak to them about hearing healthcare. I do love what I get to do every day. I do enjoy this sort of thing too. It is hard sometimes to make time in a busy life. So when I see those likes, comments, or someone gives me a heads up and says, hey, I love your content, keep doing what you're doing, I can't tell you how much like that means the world to me. And And I want to continue doing this. And I'm going to prioritize time to polish this and give you guys an even better delivery and version of this. Because right now, I'm still like, shoot when I get a chance and go. And whether I have my pajamas under and then just throw a jacket on and whatever. I want to get this off my mind and I want to get it on videos. Shoot, I do want it to be more structured and better transitions and have more features and guests. I've had guests lined up. I'm going to close this out. I've had guests lined up for, I don't even know, like 3 months, and people that are like willing to do it. And then it's just hard for me to then coordinate time for them to come to my house for us to do it after work, have the energy, get the girls down, my daughters. And that stuff is a little challenging, but I have to make time for it, and I will. That's in 2026. You guys will see me do that. Anyways, I'm signing out. This is the Bald Hearing Guy. Thank you so much for listening and get on video. I can't wait to see you guys. Please give me a like, comment. If you do your video, give me a comment so I can go see your video, and I'll absolutely show love and repost. And thank you again, guys. You have a good night.